How do you break the trend of kind of one step forward, one step back? I mean, it's kind of $1 million.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what the approach we're taking is we're not changing a whole lot. We watched the first period back, not as a team, but as a staff on Saturday, and we really played a solid period. So I don't know, because how do we make those bounces go our way? How do we make those breaks? How do we make that chance that Muller has or that Tate has or whatever it is early go in? I don't know. So we're not going to change. We're going to keep fighting. I don't think our guys laid an egg until after it was already 3-0. At that point, on tape anyway, that seemed to be the straw that broke our back was the third goal. Up until that point, I really thought we were one shot away from really starting to get some momentum because we were playing properly. We were doing things the right way. Most of their chances came on the power play. So our penalty kill, which had been solid, really let us down. I'm not sure if it's as dramatic as one step forward and one step back, Kevin. I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it's totally wrong by any means to look at it that way. But we played better than the score indicated in the first period. We got worse as the game went on. There's no doubt about that. But almost the momentum and that mental energy started to work against us rather than for us. So today we went back to work. I mean, I don't think, although the score said it was a total write-off the Saturday night's game, I don't think it was.
In terms of that, then, Coach, you guys are getting chances, but not necessarily converting them. Is it something that maybe just once the team gets a break that a string of good luck may start coming at you?
I hope. I'm a firm believer that you make your own breaks, though, and we're going to have to do things properly to get those breaks. We've got to get more pucks on net. We've got to get more people crashing the net. Obviously, scoring goals has not been easy for us. The past couple of years, obviously this year it's not been easy for us. So I don't think we can get away from those simple things that you have to do to give yourself the best chance to score goals, which starts with putting pucks and people towards the other team's net. We're going to keep the faith that, hopefully we can get on a little bit of a roll like we were able to do at the end of last year to give us a hand offensively, because it just puts so much pressure on us from the defensive standpoint when we're not scoring. And scoring one on Friday and one on Saturday obviously is not good enough, and we've got to find a way. We'll focus on it, we'll watch tape on it, we'll teach it, but ultimately it's just got to be a matter of executing around the other team's net, because we had plenty of chances to execute on Saturday night around their net. We just didn't.
You mentioned the struggles offensively through 9 games so far this year. How would you rate the team's success in terms of getting pucks and bodies towards the net?
Not good enough. I would say inconsistent is not even fair, because we've been consistently not good enough. We use 30 shots on goal as a marker. It's one of our objectives every game, and we've probably gotten that objective, 3 out of 9 at most. That's nowhere near good enough.
How much of the lack of offense or the turnovers and not being able to play a lot of the game in the offensive end?
Saturday night wasn't a turnover issue. It was a discipline issue. It was a penalty kill issue. But the turnovers have hurt us. And we're trying to get our guys to understand and believe in that although it may not result in a goal against or something really bad happening, that turnover takes away from time we have in the other team's zone. If we can get that red line, get to the offensive side of the red line and get it in with a purpose and get to our forecheck game, we can be pretty effective. And then once we have it in the other team's zone, well, that you're that much closer to their net and hopefully putting pucks and people there. But we've struggled, I'd say fairly consistently with getting the puck through the neutral zone with a purpose without turning it over. And it absolutely takes away from it. It takes away from zone time. It's happened on the power play. It's happened 5-on-5, and it's taking away from time we spend on the other team's end. And that obviously takes away from potential offense.
It seems like when you're doing that well, you're getting your chances.
Yeah, I agree.
Not only
I agree.
Year, but last year.
Right, and we're, we're convincing 26 guys that that's the way we have to play to create offense. I mean, we don't have, and I'm not sure how many teams have a couple of guys, okay, just go and beat 5 guys and go score a goal and get us that momentum. You know, nobody has that. You have to do, there's a process and details and a purpose and all that kind of stuff to create offense, 5-on-5, which is difficult in itself. Never mind when you're turning pucks over and things like that. So we're constantly harping on our guys that we have to do things a certain way to give us the best chance to create offense. And, you know, we're not going to change that mindset.
What do you like about Dan DeKaiser's game?
What do I like about it? I like lots of things about it. He's a big guy that gets around the ice really well. His presence out there is really good. You know, I think he's probably, from an opposing coach's perspective, underrated defensively. I think he's a guy that can defend and is willing to defend. You know, he doesn't have that he's got a really good shot, but he doesn't have that like elite bomb of a shot like Tennyson had last year, but I think he moves the puck extremely well. He's just an all-around, you know, really good hockey player, and I think because of that, he's going to play for a long time, probably make some money playing, and you know, so there's lots to like. But for a guy like that, from our perspective, we're going to have to limit his time and space, and we're going to, when we go out to him to engage, whether it be at the the defensive blue line or in their zone on the forecheck, you have to make sure you're paying attention to what you need to, or he'll make you look silly. And he's not the only one. He's not the only one on that team. Brown can do that. Osterley can do that. We don't know the Morrison guy, but he's taken Tennyson's spot. Witkowski is a big guy that'll embarrass you because he'll run you over at the same time. But they're a really good decor. And then Garrett Hart, you know, arguably, I don't want to say he's the best of the bunch because the Kaiser's pretty good, but Garrett Hart is a really good player. They've got a really strong decor, and they've had that for the last couple of years.
What else about Western catches your eye besides?
Their depth up front's pretty good. You know, they look like they added a couple pretty good players, and obviously Balassi is a returner, and Birschbach is a returner, and Dane Walters, you know, is a guy that's, you know, putting together some pretty good numbers at the beginning of this year. And Mike Seachy is a guy that was sitting out last year because he transferred from North Dakota to Western Michigan, and he's leading their team in points. They're right up there in the lead, so their depth is really good. I would have to believe that their belief is really strong. I mean, this for all intents and purposes, are the core guys that won the playoffs last year. You know, there's that talented group that couldn't find a way to put it together 3 years ago. Now we're a talented group playing with a purpose and doing things the way they need to do to be successful. And that's what I like about them. You know, when you combine that at talent level and a bunch of guys that are willing, which Western has proven to be, you've got a pretty special team. And I don't know this year's team versus the last 2 years, but we're going to see them, and, you know, we'll see them 4 times. We're expecting it to be, you know, probably one of the better teams we've seen at this point.
Is the number one goaltending job up for grabs, at least for the short term?
Up for grabs might be a little strong, but there's a competition going on. I'm not sure if it's a 50-50 competition, but it's a competition. You know, Tommy has continued to show a confidence level and a calmness and an intensity to compete. Not just in games, but every day in practice. Not to say Andrew hasn't done those things, but now you're going to have to execute. You know, Tommy's proven he can do it, so there's a push now, there's a competition now, and now guys are going to have to get it done. And if consistently one goalie or 2 of the 3 goalies isn't getting it done, then he's not going to find himself playing, and the one guy left will. So I think it's a good healthy competition back there. I don't think we're in any hurry to make long-term decisions. I know your question was short-term. Does that mean one guy plays Friday, one Saturday? Everything's on the table right now in terms of our goaltending. We think it's a good spot to be in. So hopefully that competition will bring out the best in everybody.
Could you talk about pulling goalies? I mean, what sort of thought process goes into that? I mean,
It's-
do you think
it's-
psychologically about what it
Yeah,
might
it's,
do?
yeah, it's much of a momentum thing as anything. I can honestly tell you, I don't think I'm very good at it. I don't have a feel for it. I mean, I don't mean the actual act of pulling him. You just say come out and then he goes out. The other guy goes in. I don't mean that. I don't really. Sometimes there's not a whole lot of means to the madness. I think I've pulled Andrew 3 times in 3 years, or let's say I can remember the 2 times the last 2 years. And last year when I pulled him against Ferris, I thought he looked defeated. The last goal that went in, the shoulders went down, the head went down. I don't like that at all, and Andrew knows it. Saturday, I just felt like we needed something to change the momentum. I really was disappointed in the 3rd goal because I really thought our guys had buckled down and done a nice job in the 5-on-3 and limited the chances Michigan State had to a really poor angle shot that ultimately went in. And it could have been then, but I didn't want to do it then. I really felt like we were still in the game, but at 4-0, I felt like it was getting away from us, and maybe that would be a change of momentum. Didn't end up being that, didn't work out. But usually when you pull the goalie, it doesn't work out because you're down, enough anyway. So it's more of a momentum thing. Try to change the mentality a little bit of your team, and by no means was it Andrew's responsibility, because it wasn't. The first goal he had no chance on. The second goal, everybody kind of went away from the slot, and the puck ended up in the slot like it always seems to. So, it sometimes can act as a wake-up call to your players too. Again, I don't think it did that on Saturday, but that's just because the score was out of hand.
Going back to the competition, is Tommy still being pushed by Scott Zacharias at the same time?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think Scott by any means has given up and just say, you guys go ahead. He was out again today working on the things that we want him to work on, and I think it's not a 2-horse race. It's been that way in terms of who's played in games, but just like going into the season, I think the one thing about Scotty was a little bit unproven, but not because we don't think he's capable. He hasn't had the opportunity to prove it. When we think back at that Colgate series, it was Scott versus Tommy to who was going to make the trip. We've talked about it, and as we all talked about again, who knows what happens, and what ends up happening was Tommy gets an opportunity, takes advantage of that opportunity. So that does separate himself a little bit from Scott just based on that. But I don't think by any means has Scott given up and handed it over to Tommy. But it looks like 3 guys battling, and going into the year we thought it was Hammond versus Hammond. Making sure he was on top of his own game because it wasn't going to be a push from the other 2, and that's just not the case right now. Right now, the case is they all should be pushing each other, and I think that's what's happening.
How do you rate Hammy so far this year? I mean, he had the good game against Michigan State Friday, but you with the Union Series.
Yeah, I rate him good. But if you go back to any press conference we've had when we've talked about Andrew Hammond going into the year, it's time to go from good to great. And the difference between good and great is consistency. And if everyone knows, I know everyone knows that. I mean, if your grade is up here and your good is a little bit below it, if you can close the gap between good and great in terms of your overall performance on that day, all of a sudden now there's no gap. So every day is great. That I would rate his performance as good. But again, that's based on a bunch of expectations too. I think he has the same expectations. I'm not pulling that out of the air. This is somebody who's proven he can play at this level. And, we wanted him to take that opportunity and take it to a whole new level. And, he's in the process of doing that.
What would you like to see his save percentage be?
I don't have a number, Kevin. I would like to see him be more consistent. I don't like when soft goals go in, and neither does he. I'd like to see those stop. We needed a save at 1-0. We needed a save at 2-0. And that's being specific about Saturday. Because Friday, he shut them out in their own rink. And it was really, really good. Potentially great. Yeah. I didn't think we defended too poorly. I didn't think we left him on an island. But he did exactly what he was supposed to do. And he looked like no one was going to beat him for the weekend. And then Saturday, unfortunately, it unraveled real quick. And I think just being able to bring some consistency to that, now all of a sudden you've strung 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 games together that you're really, really good, instead of a little bit of this.
What's Mark Rodriguez's status for the weekend?
It's good. It's positive. You know, he's been 100% practicing. I mean, the arm, I think if I would have asked Mark if he could have played, the answer was yes, but we had healthy bodies. And that's why we did what we did on Saturday. But he's been back in there competing, and we've talked to a bunch of individuals about what we need them to do to contribute. Mark knows what we need him to do to contribute, and he's been able to do that in practice anyway.
And Ted's shoulder is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a month since Jake broke his leg. How's it? Is he coming along well?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. He still has a cast on. Still looks about the same to me. But he's working. He's doing everything possible that he could do. I mean, he's in the weight room doing things with, you know, 3/4 of the whole setup with 2 arms and 1 leg. And but yeah, he'll be as in shape as anyone possibly could be. Just knowing Jake, when all these, I think the next piece is getting a walking cast on. It gets a little. I don't think it's as permanent. I actually think it can come off, and then obviously get rid of that. And you know, so as he progresses, he'll be where he needs to be, and I think he's where he needs to be right now.
When do you anticipate maybe the walking cast?
I thought right around the middle of the month is what I thought. I was told. So barring any interruption to that, I think right in the middle of November.
Is early next year still
Yeah, I haven't heard anything else. I mean, you know, the first bit, it's like 6 weeks in this, and then 5 weeks, and so it's pretty just nothing's happening. But once you start to get, you know, right around just after Thanksgiving and things like that, and now you're talking about doing rehab, making sure the leg is set properly and the bone is right and all that kind of stuff, and we can get him back doing more things even with the injured leg. Then we start to see, is the first of the year still realistic? Is it a little bit later than that? I don't see it being earlier because we've got that break, right? So you play, there's no way he's going to be able to play against Notre Dame on December 15th, and then now you don't play again until the 29th. So you've got 2 weeks of rest and rehab and whatever he's doing. So.
Sounds good.
Yep. One step back. How do you see things?
I mean, I think we're doing okay right now. We need to be more consistent, like Burr says. We can't play great one game or play good one game and then come out the next day and kind of just lollygag out there and create and turn over the puck. Just not do the things that we're good at, being relentless and working the puck in the offensive zone.
What do you think the reason has been for the consistency, or the inconsistency? I'm sorry.
I guess I would probably say it was just, there's a bunch of guys, like the younger guys, and I mean even pretty much everyone, we're just not, I guess, very cohesive with each other right now, but we're still working on that and bringing the team together and knowing where everyone's going to be on the ice and throughout the game and how everyone's going to react to situations. But I think once we get past that and get past this adversity, we're going to be doing just fine.
It seems like it gets talked about a lot, but obviously your power play has struggled so far this year from what you've seen. I mean, you're out there on the power play. What is the reason for that struggle?
I mean, it's not so much getting a puck into the zone. I feel like we're doing a much better job of that the past couple games. But once we get in it, I feel like we need to swarm the puck more, get the puck on our sticks better, and get the puck up to the point and switch sides, which will open up the entire power play for us. But I feel like we're having a difficult time just getting the puck to the point there and retrieving the puck initially once we get into the zone. But once we get that going, we just need to get more shots on that and have more people in front in order to put the pucks on.
How do you balance the fact that there's a lot of youth on the team, but yet there are guys that have been around for at least 1, maybe 2 years?
I mean, I feel like our guys are doing, our freshmen are doing well. I mean, our sophomores are still young. I feel like we're doing a good job. It might have been a rough start in the beginning, not really knowing the systems or knowing where everyone's going to be. But I feel like now we're all kind of understanding where everyone is and just kind of going about playing the game instead of trying to think about what you have to do on the ice, and thinking about the systems and thinking about everything that needs to be done instead of just playing.
Putting the power play aside, what do you see that has to be done to increase the number of goals scored?
We need to get more offense in the offensive zone. I feel like it all starts in our D zone, and we need to be much better getting the puck out of the zone. We can't be turning it over at the blue line. And then in neutral zone, I feel like at sometimes during the games, I feel like when we do a good job of that, that's when we get the most offense. Transitioning through the neutral zone, getting it up quick and getting in the near zone for us to be able to go play offense and get pucks to the net is what we need to do. Also, I think we definitely need more shots on net. There's been a couple games where we've gotten our 30-shot objective, but lately it doesn't seem like we've been getting it. We haven't been getting enough pucks in there and getting enough bodies in that.
You feel like if you can play more of the game in the offensive zone, the offense will come?
Yeah, I definitely feel that.